Another video. This one will be kind of going over this monstrosity in front of us here. Now, no two bones about it, camera repair is hard. As are most, like, jobs and things. Like, there's difficulties and challenges and stuff like that that comes up, so I'm not saying that, like, oh, woe is me, my life is just nothing but challenges. But there is a lot of challenge involved in camera repair. I feel like that's a fairly easy statement to make if you've watched any number of my videos, or, one second, if anyone knows me personally, you know that this is kind of an all-consuming aspect of my life. God love it. Anyway, so this Canonet, yes, camera repair is hard. I like to make it even more hard for myself, and this is a very good example of that instance. So, customer sends this in, and it's not working. And I'm thinking, okay, what is the deal? Basically, it will just wind and wind and wind, and it won't fire. So I'm thinking two things are occurring. One, well, first off, what I thought was this little deal here. I'm gonna try to punch in on that in post. Anyway, that little deal there is not stopping the advance arm enough. Basically needs to come down so that way the arm catches and doesn't move anymore. It's not doing that, so it's tweaked out of place. And then also what I was thinking was, because it's not moving properly, perhaps it's not engaging the charging mechanism for the leaf shutter, which sits in the lens itself. However, I was wrong. It was actually much simpler than that. It was that issue, but then also the blades themselves of the shutter were oiled up. Very common, unfortunately, with these cameras in particular, just because of how the shutter sits in the lens. Basically, all of the grease that was used to like lubricate the barrel for the focusing ring kind of seeps into the shutter system over time. It's a whole deal. It's also kind of why you see a lot of these having foggy elements or mold infestations. That's just because there's stuff in there, and over time it just kind of like festers. So got that cleaned out, got that taken care of. I ended up taking a lot more apart than I needed to, which was awesome. But the one thing I really wanted to point out, which I think I did like a little time lapse of the tear apart, was this. This is the bane of my existence. This is the reason I have trouble sleeping at night. It is the worst thing I think that Canon has ever produced, and they've given us a lot of zingers. Okay, the flex circuit over the battery compartment door of the AE1 is choice placement. The battery compartment door just in general is pretty god-awful. Pretty much the entire light metering circuits on the FTBs, just terrible option there. And then also while I'm at the FTBs, the slow speed shutter gear assembly, god awful. Never want to work on that again. Let's see what other bangers has Canon given us. The T50, T70, those are just terrible. Pretty much all of their Sure Shots and like the AF 35 mLs, god awful. Anything that involves AA batteries from Canon is just pretty much garbage in my opinion. What other zingers? The 650 with that really easily break-offable little back piece, which basically controls the entire camera. The fact that it wasn't just like a toggle on the top, I don't know what the deal is there. And then, oh, the Rebel TIs and stuff like that with the really flimsy backdoor catch. That was pretty awesome. And I know I'm missing, oh, and then the AL1s and the AV ones with the really easily breakable doors that you cannot find replacements for because they're not very popular. And then I think I'm missing a couple. I think that might actually be it for now. If I think of any more, I'll circle back to it, but I think that covers a lot of the bases. Jeez, I hate Canon stuff sometimes. Anyway, this system though sucks a chunk. Basically, it's the retaining, whatever, it's a retention ring for the lens unit here. So this is the front of the lens. All the housing sits in here, and then this would sit on top and provide tension to hold everything in. However, this is very malleable. I think it's like maybe aluminum, or yeah, I think it's like aluminum or like some really light metal. And then also, as you can tell, there's just like the two smallest notches of all time. And if it's sitting in there properly, like it's really hard to get to on a good day. But also these cameras are super old. And as I said, there's so much gunk in here that over time is festered. So there's like some kind of expansion going on, or like you can even kind of tell maybe. Actually, let's demonstrate. I'll get a nice clean Q-tip, okay? Very clean. And then I'm going to take a little bit of alcohol, and I will just circle the inside of here, and hopefully nice demonstration of just how, yeah, look at how greasy and gross that is over here. Like, that's disgusting in there, right? So that's just, you know, whatever 50, 60 odd years of collecting schmutz. It happens, understandable. However, all of that stuff cakes in and makes it really difficult to remove this. So Canon's solution was that they have like a specialty tool. However, can't find one now because of course you can't. So then my answer was, of course, the, where are they? These puppies, my lifesavers, the sewing scissors. Love these things to death. I had them in like a sewing kit because that's a thing I can do. Family and consumer science class, what up? Anyway, so like these were great because they just have enough of a tip that you can kind of get in there and torque it around and stuff. It's fantastic. But anyway, last night I was looking at this and I was like, oh man, there's no little teeth in there. What's the deal? I couldn't use these, so I had to use like a little set screwdriver and like kind of wiggle it loose. Turns out the person that had gotten in here before had just installed it upside down. So that was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I was like, I thought that this was like bad, but this was just so much worse upside down. So I guess if you're taking apart a Canonet, for the love of all things holy, especially if you're gonna send it to me afterwards, put this thing up, please. Because I don't want to have to deal with that again. It wasn't that big of a deal. At the end of the day, it came off pretty easily because it wasn't very snug. But I was just thinking, like, in a world where it was super snug, there's no way I can access this at all. And if you can't access this part, there's literally no way to get to all of this because it all sits underneath this. I'd have to tear apart this, whatever display here, and even then that doesn't guarantee anything because it's still sitting under a lot of other stuff. So it's just a fun little headache I got to deal with there. All that to be said, just maybe I need to walk back a lot of what I've said in the past, because I was like, when I started this channel, I was like, everyone I think should learn how to repair their own stuff. That'd be great. But not to say that like you shouldn't. If you want to, go for it. But I do think that there's a lot of people, like there's a lot of things in life I'm terrible at, math being one of them. There's probably a good number of people that aren't very good at this kind of stuff that watch my videos and like, oh, you know what, I can do it. And I'm like, I want to support that because I want people to like achieve whatever greatness they aspire to. But for my sanity, if you're watching my video and you're like, maybe I can give it a shot. If there's like even like a hesitation of a doubt, especially if it's like a difficult thing like this, maybe don't do it just yet and send me an email first or like message me on Instagram and be like, hey, I'm having this issue. And then we can talk about it and then we can walk through whether or not it's something you want to do on your own or send it out to me. Either way, I'm just like, I'm way too gung-ho for people trying it themselves, and I feel like I really do need to dial that back. So I'm sorry if you've been affected by that, by my faith in you. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna keep working at this because it does need a little bit more help, but I just wanted to get that little tirade out of the way. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it as always. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more content, like the video, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one.